Ghana students, NUGS is giving government a 2-week ultimatum to fix the numerous problems in the educational sector or face its wrath, which might include going to court.
We are sorry to let the government know that Ghanaian students have now run out of patience and might soon be forced to unleash our vitriolic wrath and fury within the confines of the law so that our concerns would receive the appropriate attention and redress.
The students, among other things, are unhappy about withdrawal of subventions to schools, nurses and teachers' allowances, and the inability of government to transfer an outstanding amount of 558 million Ghana cedis into the Ghana Education Trust Fund, GET Fund. According to NUGS, following a government directive to withdraw subventions to MMDAs, which include public universities, each student is now expected to pay up to about 400 Ghana cedis towards electricity for a year. What's the way forward? My name is Stephen Anti, and this is today's big story. Today, the National Union of Ghana Students held a press conference in which it raised key issues it says it is unhappy about, and it calls it reliefs, which is asking government to seek redress to. Let's listen to the NUGS president as he addressed the press conference.
The government should immediately release the arrears due GET Fund to enable the authorities meet their budgetary obligations and the completion of the projects on our campuses. That the government begins an urgent and serious move in appointing substantive boards for GET Fund, SLTF, and the National Youth Authority, which are all agencies that have students as their major stakeholders. That the government reinstate nursing and teacher training allowances that have been scrapped by the government for no justifiable reasons. In fact, the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Education can be described as ministers of withdrawals. All that we hear these days about that, this has been withdrawn, this fund has been withdrawn, that has been withdrawn. You ask yourself what they bring in place. Everything that exists to make good for people, students and teachers, are being withdrawn. Government should release the capitation grants to basic schools, which have been in arrears for well over 2 terms, as well as the huge arrears due to the caterers employed under the school feeding programs. Graduate students who are not receiving their bursaries, and we ask that the government release the bursaries for the graduate students to be able to use it to embark upon research to help their studies. The government should rescind its decision to withdraw the subvention that it gives to the institutions. Government should initiate prosecutions against all the officials that were seriously indicating the various corruption reports and scandals. That is SADA, JIDA, SUBA, Isofoton, Waterville, and others. It is indeed our fervent optimism and anticipation that the government and the relevant stakeholders would reason with us relative to the relevant issues raised and accordingly act appropriately.
Well, welcome back to the studio. I have with me the NUGS president himself, Sami Bingfo. It's nice to have you come into our studios at such a very short notice. Now, in the era of doomso, my understanding is that following the government directive to the electricity company that it's no longer able to pay for electricity subsidies to subvent for public university consumptions, students are now expected to pay, and there is a new directive. You have the document. Can you read what it is that they're saying?
I do. This letter is from Ministry of Finance, and it was written to the Electricity Company of Ghana. As at 2014 budget, government has mandated that all MDAs will no longer pay bills for MDAs. In furtherance to this directive, MDAs and MMDAs were again reminded in the 2014 budget guidelines to budget adequately for the payment of their utility bills, and also take steps to ensure that installation of prepaid meters are in there. If you look at this letter, it occurs like just describing the MDAs and MMDAs.
But universities are included.
Thank you very much. So to that effect, ECG also wrote to the Vice Chancellors, following the directive from the Ministry of Finance, per the attached document which I have just read, we would like to remind you that effective January 2014, you are to pay for all your utility bills. However, Ministry of Finance has agreed to make provision for the payment of bills as of December 2013. So what this one is telling us that from January 2014, the institutions must cater for their own light bills. It is just worth just saying that institutions cause students to pay. But by the end of the day, it's the students who are really getting their service. And then it's the bills are being pushed, the fees are being pushed on students to pay. And that's where we have the problem.
There's a lot of problem for you. I mean, when we listen to your press conference, your statement, you raise key issues, including corruption and the fact that Get Fund payment and Get Fund scholarships are in arrears, and the withdrawal of subsidies to institutions and withdrawal of allowances. You have so many problems. Do you think these are capable of being fixed?
Very much so. So far as there's the commitment...
Are you not asking for too much?
You're not asking for too much. Let's go through it one by one.
Well, I'll pause you briefly. I'm told that we were joined on the telephone by Ben Nyathapeh, who is the Accra East Regional Director of Electricity Company of Ghana, to speak to us on some of these issues. Good evening, sir, and thanks for joining us on today's big story.
Yeah, good evening, my brother, and to all your listeners.
Now, here we are with NUGS, who are raising very important issues in the era of lights off, doomsaw. They are supposed to be, the universities are supposed to be catering for their own electricity following government's withdrawal of subsidies. How is the ECG, especially in the Accra East area that you're operating in, Accra Poly, University of Ghana, Legon, and UPS? How is the ECG going to work around your jurisdiction to ensure this new directive?
Yeah, thank you. As you rightly said, from January this year, all NDAs, including the universities, are supposed to pay their bills related to directive to ECG. Therefore, we are taking steps to engage them so that monthly bills that we raise from January be paid by them directly. As you are aware, the directive said that bills that are accrued up to December 2013 will be paid by the government. Then from January 2014, the entities will pay the bills themselves monthly. So we are raising the bills as usual, and we are engaging them to see how best they can use bills so that we can have the revenue that is supposed to get from the work we do in order to sustain the system and give all customers good service.
So are there specific interventions you put in place? Because, for example, if, let's say, University of Ghana has a bill of, let's say, 9.5 million for the year, how is it possible? How are you expecting that the University of Ghana could meet such a bill? Are you working with them to put in place some easy arrangements to enable them pay?
Well, what we do, as usual, is to encourage all customers to use electricity very efficiently. If we try to cut down the waste of what we do not need, I'm sure we can bring down our monthly bills across the country, and that will help to conserve the energy. Even though we are trying to sell, we also are saying that let's conserve and use it wisely. In that regard, our marketing section engages all sorts of customers in education as how to use the product safely and most efficiently so that we do not have to pay for wastage. And this is being extended to the university community as well, so that everybody will use whatever we have available most efficiently.
Right, thank you very much. That didn't exactly address the key question that I asked, really. I mean, advising the universities or people who consume energy to be prudent in their consumption doesn't equate to whether they have the money to pay. So, for example, if I gave a figure of 9.5 million, if University of Ghana, for example, is levied 9.5 million, are there systems in place from the Electricity Company of Ghana to help or to enable the universities easily to meet their indebtedness to ECG? Are we expecting that if they can't pay, or if there's no quota system in place, their power will be turned off, university community getting power off? I mean, that's going to be something else for students who are preparing for examinations.
Well, thank you. I think that every purchaser of a product knows that at the end of the day, that product or service has to be paid for. in the context that we are talking about, the university has a fair idea of the monthly average bill that we raise for them for literacy payment. Therefore, we expect that they will put in measures to be able to have this money to pay to us. We are being them currently on credit matrix.
Right.
Which means that they consume for a month. We raise a bill and expect
Right.
that by the end of the second month, that bill should be paid. So we're giving a period of about 2 months. We expect that within the period, the university authority should be able to raise the money to pay the bill.
Right, we're very grateful, Ben.
This connection will be a very last resort.
Last resort. Okay.
It's the money we want to be collected, so that will be the very last resort.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ben Nyathafe, who is Accra East Regional Director of Electricity Company of Ghana. So, Sam, you heard him. You have to pay.
Thank you very much.
That's a worry for the students, right? I mean, if you have to pay, you have to pay.
I 100% understand Mr. Ben Nyathafe. I don't have a problem with him. All that he said is true. Our concern has to do with the government. And what students of Ghana are saying is very simple. Ministers are being paid 7,000 above every month, and yet they are enjoying free electricity. They are enjoying free transport, they are enjoying free fuel, and all of that. When they were on campuses, they were still enjoying some of these goodies. Why are they turning their back towards students now? Yes, ECG must run, and we must pay them the bill that can really help them to run efficiently and effectively. But then don't just push all your burdens on students. In any case, the government has been telling us that things are difficult for them, so they expect Ghanaians to bear with them. How much less students? If things are even difficult for the government, what about students?
So what can you pay, actually? I mean, because I reckon that the time of free everything is way over. I mean, in our kind of economic situation, you have to pay for what you use.
Thank you. If it's over,
I mean, there are students who use microwaves on campus. I mean, if you're a student and you want to use a microwave, you must pay.
Thank you very much. What we are saying is very simple. What we are saying is that if they say the time of food goodies are over, the government must come to show. Must come to show to us that when they are moving their cars, they buy fuel in those cars, so that we know that the time for free goodies are over.
You want it to be tit for tat. You want them to set the
example
example
set the records,
for you.
Then who shall follow?
If you're paying, they must pay too.
They must pay. But you will not enjoy all those goodies. When you're on campus, you enjoy it. Nobody denying all those benefits. Now you're in government, you enjoy all those benefits. Nobody's denying you. And then you tell us that we should suffer. No. That can't be.
So your ultimatum is to government to fix these problems.
To
there are a whole lot of
decision
them.
On that matter.
You listed 6 items which were the reliefs you were seeking, which includes fixing the indebtedness of Get Fund and then making sure that the Get Fund scholarship is paid, and then subventions are what?
If you realize that's the number one on the agenda. The number one agenda, that Get Fund money should be paid into the fund. 558 million Ghana cedis.
It's currently outstanding.
These are monies that we are not saying that government should go and look for it. These are money that have been paid by you and myself.
Levied as taxes.
Levied as taxes, and we are paid. The money has been given to government. And that is why we are saying that the government is not showing really any deep concern towards education. Because if Ghanaians have put up money out there, 558 million, that take this money and put into education, and the government thinks that there are some businesses, there are some areas that is so crucial, that's so important in education. Therefore, let us take this money from education and go and put it there. It tells us the direction the government wants to go. That the government is still not showing any commitment to education. Because if you show commitment, you will even be going to look for some and bring it here. You know, you didn't take what is here and take somewhere else.
Well, we're trying to get Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, Deputy Information Minister, the Office of the President, to respond to some of these issues that the NUGS is raising. When we are able to get him on the telephone, we will speak to him and put some of the issues the students want addressed to him and see whether we can tease out some response or some action plan from government. The students have a lot of complaints. So beyond the Get Fund, what else is your major issue?
We are talking about boards, organizations that really are student related. Get Fund, Student Loan Trust Fund, the National Youth Authority. This board, the term of this board ended in 2012. As of today, there has not been any will in any direction, any commitment by the government to institute new boards for these organizations. Airport board came to an end. Within 1 week, a new one was set up. Harbour board came to an end. Within 1 week, a new one was set up. We are talking about more than 1.5 years. Get Fund board is still being chaired by the chairman of NDC. Where is the political commitment, really, that government can say that he is committed to the youth? Therefore, whenever there are youth issues, they will respond quickly to it. We are not seeing that. And we cannot continue this way. Seriously. We simply cannot continue this way. We demand that government should show more commitment. The best assets that the nation has got, it is youth. And if we are toying with their lives, I don't know what kind of future we want to build for ourselves. So that's another one, that we want the board. Within 2 weeks, it's possible. The people are all over, they are here. The government should establish the board for Get Fund, board for SLTF, and board for National Youth Authority. These are student-related boards that really will champion the cause of students. We're also calling that the allowance that has been withdrawn for our nurses and teacher training colleges. The government should take a second look at it.
What do you mean second look? Bring it back, reintroduce it, or perhaps bring in another cushion measure to enable trainees? I mean, why should government be paying trainees to have a skill?
You talk to the government, you talk to government officials, and they are like, fine. They are now on to put all the teacher trainee and nursing trainees on their student loan trust fund.
And that is good or bad for you?
The maximum amount of money anybody can get under the SLTF is 1,600 Ghana cedis. 1,600 for a year. That's the maximum you can get. Now, the fees that are being paid at UCC, they are the first institution that have brought out their school fees. They're talking 2,000 Ghana cedis. So even what you get for SLTF, it's not even enough to pay your school fees. For you to go to school, let alone the others. And this teacher training also paying school fees as well. And the rationalization that we are all tertiary institutions, therefore all that we go through, we must also go through. Teacher trainees are not allowed to go out even to work like university students will be allowed to go and work. They must stay on campus. They go dining hall like SS people. The way they are treated, we cannot say that we are really handling them as tertiary institutions. And we are really building something dangerous for our future. Let me tell you what. Now, if we say that they should go for the loan and take care of themselves, they are not under any obligation, they are not under any bond. When they complete, you can't force them to go to the villages to go and teach. They also want to work in the cities to raise enough money to pay their loan. So these allowances were something that were being used to cushion them, to bond them, so that at least for the first 3 years after their education, they can be asked to go to the villages to go and help our sisters and younger ones there. But now, if you want them to treat them as university students, then we should also leave them. If anybody wants to go and work, wants to go and take care of himself here and there, should allow them to do all of that. And then after that, don't compel anybody to move to the village to go and take care of them.
So you think critically, I mean, if government is withdrawing some of these benefits that teacher trainees and nursing trainees get, then it should be also prepared to remove its hold on taking them to government institutions or establishments during a few number of years through a bond. But how are we as a country supposed to move forward? I mean, in this economic situation, when we pay for people to acquire skills that are good for their own sustenance, really. I mean, can we continue to do that? Can we continue to pay for that?
If the institution, if the nation is investing in students, it's putting money in students to ensure that they educate themselves, it is not just good for the individuals, but it's good for the nation. We just look at the fact that that individual is the one who is benefiting. But by the time you have finished educating somebody, you have changed a lot of things in our nation. So if the government puts in money, he's not wasting it. In any case, how much are we not spending to go to Brazil? 30,000 of people, and we're talking about 22 million and above Ghana cedis just to go in Brazil for 1 month and then come back.
Do you have any problem do you have any problem in particular with Brazil?
My question is that if we can raise this money for this, I don't see why
we must raise it for education. You also spoke about the government releasing the capitation grant for basic school, which has been in arrears for over 2 months. Let me ask you, I mean, I know that before a press conference, you must have had some kinds of engagement with the necessary stakeholders and government. Have you spoken to anybody at all to raise these issues and, you know, before going ahead to issue more like an ultimatum to government?
Unfortunately, that's the most unfortunate aspect of the whole thing, that we took steps to talk to the Minister of Education But there was no opportunity for us to do so. We wrote letters. We have written to the president stating some points that student leaders of the nation want to meet him to discuss these issues.
Nothing came out of it.
No, nothing came out of it. So we feel that we must take the necessary steps. So last week came out a press release telling people that, in fact, it really got to them. They knew it. They knew about it, that this week will come out. So out of this, we're also ending. That in 2 weeks' time, as I talked to you, our lawyers are preparing the rates about the GET fund. 2 weeks time, we're going to court. If by 2 weeks time, the government has not really paid GET fund money, 558 million, we are going to court. That's the first step. Second, if this requirement that we are asking for, rescinding these decisions, are not really also going to be met, we're going to back up demonstration across the nation.
But how effective would your demonstrations be? You are students. I mean, if you leave the classroom to go and demonstrate, you might be the ones losing.
That will suffer. If the government sees that way, it will be good for them.
Well, I must say that we've been trying to raise Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, who is Deputy Information and Media Relations Minister, who agreed to speak to us on some of these issues so we can put to him, but unfortunately he's not answering. We also tried to raise Minister of Education, Deputy Minister of Education, to speak to us on these issues. We're unable to get them. We must make you know that these are very critical and important issues which we wanted to discuss with the people mandated to provide answers on behalf of government and on your behalf. So we're still trying very hard. We want to believe that they may be in some form of a meeting, and when we get them, we'll bring the story. I must say that we have been trying extensively to reach Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, who is Deputy Information and Media Relations Minister. He agreed in principle to speak to us, but it's not answering. And then we've also been trying to reach Samuel Okujeto-Ablakwa, who is a Deputy Education Minister in charge of tertiary education. We sent him a lot of messages, and we got the impression he was going to respond. These are very important issues, and we do hope that we can reach them along the line. We only have a few minutes to wrap, but hey, Sammy, here we are. We haven't got a response from those who are supposed to give us the response yet. Student leaders are very, very active, and all these students leaders have become political appointees, really. Do you have political ambition?
I think it's an error.
It is an error.
Right? The statement you made is an error.
It's an error.
Not
right?
all student leaders really
most
become
of them. Okujeto-Ablakwa was a student leader.
As well, I can also tell a lot of them that become pastors.
Elvis Efriankra, Aaron Idris. The list goes on.
But there are a lot of people who are in the industry who are teaching, who are lecturers,
who were student leaders,
who are not necessarily politicians. So it doesn't mean that anybody who is a student leader is certainly going to be a politician. Not at all.
Right. So, I mean, the issues you raise are key. I've seen that one of the things that you wanted government to do is that you said that government should initiate prosecutions against all the officials that were seriously indicted in the various corruption scandals, including Sada, Jida, Suba, Isophoton, Waterville, and others. Is this in your purview? This is none of your business, is it? You're only a student leader.
Every part of our business. We are looking for role models. We are looking for people that we can take after. We are looking for good example to be set for us so that we can follow. So the way this matter is being handled, if anybody in Ghana can tell us that they are really giving us good examples, then that's fair enough.
So prosecution will show you that government is doing something about
and you cannot do anything anyhow in Ghana.
And you feel that sums of money from there could be channeled into resolving the key educational problems.
This Saddam money that was sent to them were used to build hostels at the 3 UDS in northern region. Students go there, they can't get a place to sleep. They go and sleep in mat house here and there. If this money were used as part of development for the North to build hostels, that would be better for students.
Do you really have hope that government will address the reliefs you are seeking in 2 weeks?
We hope.
So did you send the copy to the Ministry of Education?
These are not difficult matters, I believe. These are not difficult matters at all.
They're easy.
That the government, if the government really is committed, about
pay off 558 million Ghana cedis indebted to GET fund and restore subventions. That's a lot. I mean, you do not expect that this can be addressed in 2 weeks.
It can be done. They can do it.
So really, I mean,
this money is either 558 million. It's not money that we ask the government to go and look for go for a loan somewhere. It is money that indeed students, Ghanaians have given to government that take this money. So wherever you want, you put it. Just go and bring it back. That's all.
So this decision, is it a decision of the executive of NUGS?
No.
Or this is representative of the general view
of
the
students of Ghana?
They support you on this.
Telling you,
if you go to court, are you sure you can win anything?
Get Fund Act 581 says that within 30 days, when these taxes are collected, the money must be paid into the fund. 30 days. So the president took oath to protect and preserve the laws of this land. This is a law that was passed by Parliament in the year 2000. Just as we have laws in Ghana that demand that every 4 years there should be an election, which is religiously observed, and new presidents are elected every now and then. Why do you want to observe some and then leave some others? So we are talking about a breach here where the law has been violated.
And do you think you have the numbers if you decide to go on strike? The numbers that will make government shake on its knees and perhaps take action?
Any sector of Ghana, that kind of mobilizing organization that's bigger than the youth of Ghana? I'm wondering. We have it.
You do have it. All right, so my name is Stephen Enti, and NUGS President Sami Bingfo has been here with us on today's Big Story. I must